Firefighters are gaining ground on wildfires that stretch from Malibu to Ventura County, but a new flare-up has scorched at least 1,000 acres.
Several communities are still evacuated. We spoke to one student whose family had to leave when their home, when the fires broke out there.
And residents in Bell Canyon can finally return home. We'll take you to one man who refused to leave. Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Nearly 9,000 firefighters battled California wildfires today, making progress and lifting evacuation mandates in various neighborhoods. Good evening, I'm Sofia Hausch.
And I'm Pankey. The wildfires have burned more than 96,000 acres, making the fire the deadliest and most expensive fire in California history. The Woolsey fire has destroyed at least 435 structures in the LA and Ventura counties, and another 57,000 buildings in the area are threatened. The fire has killed 2 people. Their bodies were found in the front seats of a charred SUV on Mulholland Highway. Right now, the fire is 35% contained, and full containment is not expected until Sunday.
The record-breaking campfire is still burning up in Butte County. If we take a closer look at the Southern California fires, we can also see that the Woolsey fire is spanning now from Westlake Village through Agora Hills, through Hidden Hills and Calabasas, up to down southward to Topanga, southern Santa Monica Mountains, and Malibu and the coast. And most of those areas are still under mandatory evacuation. The Hill fire is also blazing in Ventura County. It is 90% contained, but it has scorched 4,500 acres and destroyed 2 structures. But most of those evacuations have been lifted in those areas. To get an idea of what's happening right now with the Woolsey fire, let's check in with reporter Colin Taylor, who's live at Lake Sherwood. Colin?
Roy and Sophia, I'm out here on the other side of the mountain where the flare-ups here in Lake Sherwood decided to occur today. And, well, let's go and zoom in on that smoke over there. As you can see, it has started to die down. It's starting to get a little more hazy out here. There's a lot of ash coming down every so often. And also behind me is a checkpoint where police are encouraging people to decide to turn around. But some of these people are actually going forward and proceeding with where they need to go, which is especially alarming. But the people and residents of the area have been evacuated, spanning all the way out into Calabasas. And actually talking to a resident out there, they're having some issues on deciding whether or not they should leave, because between the county and the city, they're miscommunicating and they don't know if they should stay or go, which is especially alarming when you're putting the hands of your mortality, your life, your livelihood in those people. And linking it back to out here, what all these residents are feeling is exhaustion, both physically and mentally, when you consider how long these fires have been going on. And, well, I guess all we can hope for is better news soon. For Annenberg TV, I'm Colin Taylor. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Colin. Several USC students and their families were forced to evacuate. Sophomore Maya Tribbett's family had to leave their Thousand Oaks home last Thursday. This is a photo of the home where Maya's family lives on the edge of Westlake Village. Her family was able to return to their home on Sunday, and the evacuation orders definitely shook her.
So I was kind of even reluctant to believe the intensity of everything. And then when I recognized places that were being burned down or the fires getting close to places that I go often, I was like, oh man. That kind of reminded me at the end of the day, like, stuff is stuff, and for the most part, everything is replaceable. Like, our biggest concern is that we have our lives, and we're so grateful for that.
Every day, pretty much, we're in tears. It's hard, but, you know, I just focus on the positive, the ones that we do get out.
Packed pictures and everything else and put them in the dining room, had the car pretty much ready to go. But none of the neighbors were doing anything at that point in time, so you kind of make a decision for yourself, should I go or not?
Despite the weekend scares, both Sarah Torrey and Templar are back in their homes tonight.
Bell Canyon residents are now able to move back home after being told to evacuate last week. But Tyler Lockman says his decision to stay is what saved his house. 37 homes were lost and a dozen others were damaged in the fires that swept through the canyon. The history teacher and lifelong resident of Bell Canyon stayed behind to save his home and kept other residents updated through social media.
As you see it happening, there's no doubt in your mind you have to stay. If I had left, I would have lost my house, and if we all, speaking for all of us, multiple houses would have been lost. All of the residents that stayed, they always alerted firemen first, but sometimes took a little bit for them to get there. Sometimes because they were dealing with so many that we were left to do the smaller fires, or as much as we could, especially when the water was still on Friday.
Although Tyler's backyard suffered significant damage, he was able to save his house and welcome other residents as they return home. The fires in Bell Canyon have subsided, but other regions are still struggling to save their communities, their homes, and their lives. All around California, inmate volunteers make up a significant portion of the firefighters containing the wildfires. The program is run through the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. However, most California laws prohibit them from getting a job as a firefighter, even though they are being trained on and near the fire lines.
In the specific case of people coming out of prison and trying to get a job as a firefighter, California actually has some of the most prohibitive laws in the nation to that respect. So there's a number of different states that are trying different approaches, but they all seem to converge on the idea that education and workforce skills and training are going to be crucial for getting a job once they come out of prison. That money, of course, is wasted effort if the people can't get a job, if the state boards that are licensing these people to get these jobs are declining their application.
Over 1,400 inmates have been deployed to help fight wildfires all over California. They're paid $2 an hour and receive time off their sentence for their service. The death toll from the Camp Fire in Northern California climbed even higher today, and 200 residents of Paradise are still missing. It is the most destructive fire in California history. 6,500 homes and 260 commercial buildings have been destroyed. The Butte County Sheriff provided the latest grim statistics.
As of today, an additional 13 human remains have been recovered, which brings the total number to 42. If I understand, that makes this the deadliest fire in the history of the United States, wildland fire.
3 firefighters have been injured. The Camp Fire is only 30% contained, and its leading edge is now about 50 miles east of Paradise.
A couple of close races in Florida have led to a recount. Our political anchor shows us why tensions are rising.
CNN is suing President Trump after the White House yanks one reporter's press credentials. We'll hear reactions from both sides.
And see how firefighters from all over the country are lending a hand to put out the California wildfires.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
Firefighters are working 24-hour shifts with little to no rest as they continue to battle the wildfires. Annenberg Media spoke with a fire chief and a nonprofit about what it means to be a first responder and how the public can help.
Definitely rewarding to know that you're helping in that fight, and you do it with pleasure, knowing that, hey, what you're doing is going to make a difference and hopefully change the lives of people who may not have that option or choice. And had it not been for us to be there, it could have been worse.
For some firefighters, this hits close to home. The LA-based Family Fire Foundation says they've received calls from firefighters who lost their homes to the Paradise Fire, the same fire they are working to put out. The foundation offers assistance to firefighters and their families to help rebuild. And despite what's being reported, the Los Angeles Fire Department is asking via Facebook that people not bring physical donations for firefighters. Instead, they say a smile or a simple thank you is enough.
I think that they're so tough, so capable, and they are. However, I don't think we ever think that we should maybe help them, that they can just take care of everything.
The Los Angeles Fire Department encourages donating to the American Red Cross or other local charitable organizations. Joining me now via Skype is USC senior Ashley Daly. Ashley started a fundraiser called We Are 805 Strong for the victims of the Borderline bar shooting and the Woolsey fire.
Hey, Roy.
Hi, thank you so much for joining me.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me.
My first question for you is, what inspired you to start your fundraiser?
Right. So I got a text Wednesday night after the shooting, a few minutes after the Borderline shooting. I grew up about less than half a mile away from Borderline, and I grew up going there every Wednesday night when I was at community college before I transferred to USC. And I made a really good friend in my church community and at Borderline. Her name was Noelle Sparks, and she was one of the victims that was shot on Wednesday night. So I was texting friends, asking where she was. I was texting other friends that I knew that were there, asking if they were okay. And I went to bed around 3:30, just praying and hoping that everyone was okay. And hoping that my family was safe. Like, the first thought that went through my head was, oh, my family's, like, the shooter could be in our neighborhood. So, yeah, that's what was going through my head at first. But I got a text the next morning, Thursday morning, around, I want to say 10 a.m., from a friend that said she found out that Noelle had passed away. And I was overcome with grief and pain, and a few hours later, I had to come home to go to her vigil, and then I had to go and evacuate my house a few hours after that. And we packed up my home and my belongings, and we ended up staying and hosing down the house, trying to protect it against orders, but we could do more good there. Can you still hear me, Roy?
We're very sorry for your loss, and we hate that you're going through this. Now, what has been the reaction here at USC and at home to your fundraiser campaign?
It's been overwhelming. I had to take a break from Instagram today because that's how I'm running the campaign. It's at We Are 805 Strong. And then the link to donate is linked on the bio. It's basically a Google form, and you just fill that Google form out. There's 5 different bracelets that you can purchase for the Borderline shooting victims. And then there's 5 bracelets that you can purchase that are for the fire victims. Each one is $10. Yeah, you fill out that form, and then you Venmo We Are 805 Strong, $10. Super easy. And all of the proceeds are being donated. I keep nothing. The markup is, so I'm collecting the bracelets from Reminder Band, which is a company in Utah. They get their bracelets from China. It's about 90 cents to make it, $10 so $10, you get like almost a 90% profit off of that. All of the funds are going to the families affected directly. And I cleared out my
Ashley,
checking and everything.
thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Our thoughts are with you, definitely.
Thank you.
Let's toss it to Shari with weather.
Well, I'm hoping to bring some type of sunshine today, as it has been a very, very tough couple of days with all the wildfires. Let's take a look at the current forecast. Right now, it is sunny, 70 degrees, and also taking a look around California, starting with the Inland Empire here. You can expect low temperatures, especially in Big Bear, 53 degrees, and then in San Bernardino, 78 degrees. Now to the valley. you'll find about the same, just a little bit higher in temperatures here. Northridge 79 degrees, and then right here in Thousand Oaks 79 degrees as well. In the LA area, you'll find that temperatures are in the 80s, Pasadena 80 degrees, but right here on USC's campus, you want to have a jacket because it is 55 degrees. Now let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. It's all the same as we go across the week. We're talking in the 70s, but Thursday you'll find that it is the highest for the week, 78 degrees here, and then it drops down to 70 degrees, and each evening it will maintain in the 50s. Wildfires ripping through California have forced hundreds of thousands of residents to evacuate, including some celebs who have completely lost their homes. Cher expressed her concern via Twitter saying, "I'm worried about my house, but there is nothing I can do. Friends' houses have burned. I can't bear the thought of there being no Malibu." Miley Cyrus shared this photo of her once standing home that still spared the word love. This tweet, she shares how devastated she is, yet grateful for what she has left. Lady Gaga, Robin Thicke, and Gerard Butler are also among the celebrities affected by the wildfires.
It's always so devastating and sad to hear that people have lost their lives. I hate that for them.
It absolutely is. Our thoughts are with them.
Yes.
Thank you, Shari. CNN is suing the Trump administration for removing Chief White House correspondent Jim Acosta's press pass. The network argued that revoking the credential violated Acosta's First and Fifth Amendment rights. Last week, Acosta refused to give up the microphone while asking Trump questions, which the White House claims motivated the revoked credential. CNN counsel Ted Boutros explained the network's First Amendment claim.
And it's really a classic First Amendment viewpoint content-based discrimination against speech, and we can't have the White House or government officials arbitrarily tossing people out of the White House or other government facilities just because they don't like what they're saying or what they're reporting.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders issued a statement in response to the suit, saying, quote, "This is just more grandstanding from CNN, and we will vigorously defend against this lawsuit. If there's no check on this type of behavior, it impedes the ability of the president, the White House staff, and members of the media to conduct business."
A week after the election, Florida still doesn't know who will be the next governor or senator.
Our political anchor Morgan Stevens has more on this. Morgan?
That's right. Election officials are recounting the votes. Both Republican candidates were in the lead on election night, but their margins narrowed enough to trigger a recount. That's the law if candidates are less than half a percentage apart. For governor, Republican Ron DeSantis came in 0.41% ahead of his Democratic opponent, Andrew Gillum. That's about 33,000 votes. For U.S. Senate, Democrat incumbent Bill Nelson trailed Republican opponent Rick Scott by 0.2%. That's a difference of only 12,000 votes. Now tensions are rising among Florida voters in recent days. We spoke with an absentee voter today.
I get that there was like it was a tight race. I understand that. But I also think that, there was higher amount of votes for both of the Republican, runners, and that's it. And the fact that they are able to screw up this badly for the second time, I mean, come on. Even though it's not a presidential race, but it's important to me.
Election officials are counting all provisional and mail-in ballots. They're also doing machine counts to check for electronic errors. If it's still too close to call, they will recount the votes by hand. The deadline is Sunday at noon. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Morgan. This morning, interim USC President Wanda Austin announced the launch of the President's Culture Commission, a group of students, faculty, and staff dedicated to improving campus culture. Austin says, quote, "We need to commit ourselves to hearing the voices of our community, engaging with one another in an open and authentic way, and committing to actions that we believe will change USC for the better. The commission plans on conducting a university-wide values assessment to identify the most pressing issues." You can track the new commission's work on their Change Progress Dashboard grid at change.usc.edu.
Hey Roy, are you going to the UCLA game this weekend?
Unfortunately, I do not have tickets for this weekend's game, but it's sure to be an exciting one. Let's take it to our sports anchors Robby Aronson and Anwar Stetson to find out more.
Thanks, guys. It's rivalry week here on campus, and coming up, we'll take a look at the crosstown rivalry game between USC and UCLA this weekend. ATVN News is next.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
She made the Pac-12 All-Defensive Team last season and now leads her team in scoring after the first 2 games. It's my pleasure to introduce Minyon Moore to the studio. Minyon, thank you so much for coming in.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Let's get right off the bat. You guys came into the season with a new squad and you lost leading scorers like Kristen Simon. How are you handling a leadership role becoming an upperclassman this year?
I pretty much stepped into that role my freshman year. I started in that position, that point guard position, so I've kind of got used to it over the years. But we've had leadership in like my sister Minyon Moore transfers just to help us with the leadership in the roles that we lost in Kristen Simon and Sadie Edwards.
And what makes you tick? What makes you get out of bed and say, man, I want to be the best today?
Just a chip on our shoulder. I feel like everyone on our team has something to prove, and we go out there every day, we show effort, and we work really hard. And so just that's the chip on our shoulder that we play with and show effort, and we just really go hard every day. So, yeah.
You mentioned your sister Mariah. You guys are finally playing together. What's the best part about playing with her, and how much do you guys compete with each other on that court?
I think it's really just being able to have our family, just like a big family. Like, we're from the Bay Area, so not too far. But not too close at the same time. So just having our family around, just having my sister around, it's like home out here in LA. Yeah.
And you know, we all know you're a great defender. But what I want to know is, before we go, what are your personal goals for the season this
Personal
year?
goals to get to the tournament. I feel like last year we kind of got cheated out of it, but I mean this year we have that chip on our shoulder like I talked about earlier, and just to get to the tournament, like make a run in the Pac-12 tournament, and just make a name, like get back to the USC women's basketball legends that we used to be.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Moore and the women of Troy will take on UC Santa Barbara this Thursday night at 7 p.m. at the Galen Center. Robbie, let's take it over to you.
Thanks, Anwar. Now we head to men's basketball, where Anwar Stetson's favorite team, the Stetson Hatters, face off against USC tomorrow at 7 p.m. We talked to Coach Enfield about how they're preparing for Wednesday.
Well, they're long and athletic, and they play an up-tempo game, and they'll play extremely hard. So we can't just focus on one player because all 5 guys could beat you at any time.
The Trojans take on the Bruins this week in football. Both teams enter the season with a lot of hope. But the Trojans were ranked 15 at the start of the year, and UCLA just hired Chip Kelly. But now the year is winding down, and both teams have fallen just short of expectations. USC and UCLA have a combined 13 losses entering this season's game on Saturday. In the 88-year history of the rivalry, this is the most combined losses ever. This matchup will be more about pride than anything else. The game will take place at the Rose Bowl on Saturday at 12:30 p.m.
Robbie, Chip Kelly's year has been very disappointing, and even though this is a road game, everyone knows playing at the Rose Bowl isn't really a road game for SC. I think this is going to be a shootout, a thriller, a game with no Pac-12 implications, no Rose Bowl implications. The guys out there, they're playing for nothing but pure, unadulterated pride. This game is going to be a thriller, 51-48 in OT. I got the Trojans. I'm predicting a huge game for JT, Tyler Vaughns, and Aka Cedric Ware. Chip Kelly might have popularized that spread offense, but we're going to perfect it on Saturday.
Anwar, I don't know about you, but I've just had enough of predicting the Trojans to win. They keep letting me down, and honestly, I just don't see them overcoming their loss over the weekend. I know, the Bruins aren't too good, but I think the Trojans are on a downward spiral at the minute, especially after that loss this weekend at home. To put that into retrospect, the Bruins beat Cal 30 points earlier in the season. Call me crazy, but I'm taking the 2-8 Bruins to beat the Trojans by a score of 21-17 this weekend.
Wow, Robby, predicting an L against the Trojans' arch rivals? I mean, that couldn't be me. But I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is prediction season is coming to an end.
But the good news is this game will determine our prediction king, which will be me. But that's all we have with sports. Roy and Sophia, back to you guys.
Thanks. Amazon announced the location for its new headquarters.
The news just got more futuristic. We'll show you how a news company took anchoring to the next level this week.
Hey guys, Danny Trejo here. There was going to be a whole song and dance routine about how you should wait your turn to enter the train. But they got me, Danny Trejo, to talk to you instead. Look, when you don't wait your turn to enter the train, it's rude and potentially dangerous. And believe me, I know a thing or two about rude and dangerous. I'm Danny Trejo. Don't be like rude, dude. Be kind, like super kind. Excuse me.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
I never thought a robot could do my job, but China just revealed the world's first artificial intelligent news anchor. He was broadcast by the Xinhua news agency, and he speaks in English.
Hello, everyone. I'm an English artificial intelligence anchor. This is my very
He's a robot. He can work 24 hours a day, no overtime. AI anchor gets his information from watching live videos.
The frenzied competition for Amazon's corporate headquarters is over. Today, the tech giant announced its split decision, Arlington, Virginia and Queens, New York.
Amazon, no doubt, is a big asset in the entire tech space. I believe there's going to be a positive synergy with many of the other companies.
The location is expected to generate 25,000 new jobs.
Thank you for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Roy Pankey.
And I'm Sofia Hausch. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.